Hello, this is Evelyn Churan from Churan's Tiny Homestead. So, for the past 4 weeks, I have been totally under the weather. I thought I was having a stroke because I started slurring my words, but it was actually heat stroke. Yeah, so working in the heat is really, really tough. I had 20 cords of wood to pile up through the summer. I've canceled my last 10 cords because the way they cut it, yeah, I can't stack it properly. So I canceled it for this year. I might get another 10 cords in the spring, but we'll see. I was hoping to have that job done for 5 years in advance, but it didn't work out that way. Budget. Yeah. Now I have 2 more grocery trips left over to be ready for the winter and a few extra things that I need, like brackets and stuff, and some plumbing supplies to hook up my sinks halfway properly, and very minimal budget. I have to pay the place off August 1st by 2026. So after my next 2 grocery trips and Dollarama trip, I'm flat out broke. I cannot spend another dime for 1 full year because I have to pay the balance to the lenders. So yes, I am broke. I managed to get some cement slabs to build a walkway around my sauna. I paid cash for all of that. So here's what the difference is. The reason why I'm broke all the time is because I'm paying cash for everything. I no longer have credit cards and the banks will not help me. So on that note, I'm broke. So I've got like a budget of $500 to $700 a month to buy parts for the place to go onto the build. But it's very, very itsy bitsy budget because I have to pay the place off. Plus, my ceiling was done wrong and the whole thing has to be torn down and redone. So a lot of my contractors said they knew what they were doing. Nobody's ever built a tiny house, including myself. And I have to live with the mistakes and I have to pay double the amount of money to fix it. So to tear it down now and to have it redone properly with strapping, because all the wood they put up, it's all falling down. And it's not because the wood shrunk, it's because it was done wrong to begin with. They put drywall and instead of strapping, and we never needed drywall in between. We should have never put any drywall. And then he put the wood, and that's not how you build this kind of a ceiling. You're supposed to put strapping, then add the wood. So apparently the building inspector told him to do this. All the building inspector told me was to cover it up. He didn't say how, because of the insulation that the building came with. The carpenter said that the building inspector told him to do it that way. There's no building code that requires you to put drywall if you're putting up wood over top of your insulation with strapping. So there's no code for that. And so it was done wrong. The whole thing's got to be torn out and start over. I do not want drywall on my ceiling. It's ugly. And I'm just not into it. I hate drywall. I wanted a tiny cabin that was wood finish, not drywall. I absolutely hate drywall. It's ugly. Even if I had a mansion, I would never, if I was a multimillionaire, I wouldn't do drywall if I didn't have to. I hate drywall. It's ugly. And there's so much more artistic designs out there without drywall, and I just don't like the drywall. So that's got to be redone. I still have to put new floors in here because the floors here are cracking and peeling up, and it was old floors, just straight. They're just ugly. I want to put floating floors in. I've got some painting to finish up. Well, we have to tear the ceilings out, so that's going to cost me another, I don't know, $5,000 to fix it. So I can't even do that. I can't even finish the inside of the house right now because I just don't have the money. Then the doors that I ordered for the bedroom and the small bathroom I have, it's just a powder room with a camping toilet. The doors are $500 to $800 per door. I'm going with a sliding accordion Japanese door, not doors that swing open because I don't have the space for swinging open doors. So I went with the Japanese accordion doors, and when you go with a custom fit, it's like $500 a door. $500 to $600 per door. So they screwed up my order again on my door. They reimbursed me and I have to reorder it before I can finish that. But the inside of the building can be done in the winter months. It's not summer work. So for the summer, I've planted fruit trees that I've added to the property for a small food forest. I'm going to stick with the fruits and the berries because gardening is just not working out for me. And the reason why it's not working out for me is because I don't have running water. I don't have plumbing. I don't have a hose to water them. And I bought manure from somebody that turned out to be all kinds of animal manure, and a whole pile of weeds and stuff come through all of my vegetables. And I don't know if it's carrying listeria. So I can't even eat the vegetables that actually did grow in between the weeds. So unless it was tested. So now it's screwed up all of my gardening soil and I have to start my gardens all over again. So instead of starting everything all over again, I'm just going to plant brushes, and it's going to be either blueberry trees, tall bush blueberry trees, peaches, pears, things like that, apples. I'm not doing the vegetable gardens anymore. I can buy corn, carrots, peas, all of that stuff frozen and can it for $2 a bag. It's cheaper to buy the stuff than it is to grow it. I just can't afford to keep putting money into a vegetable garden that I can't water. The water I have here is for potable water. It's for me to drink and cook with and wash my dishes. I sponge bath in the sauna. A sauna, it cleans out your skin. You don't have to use soap. So like baking soda and water is pretty much my showers or washing up so that no toxins go into the ground. And that's how I also wash out my my sauna when I clean it from the water that falls or from dirt and stuff. There's holes in the bottom of it so that you can wash it out properly, right? That's the way they're built. So I only use baking soda and water in there. I don't put any chemicals in there at all. So the only chemicals I have in my house is dish soap, and that's it. And my laundry soap, which is Arm& Hammer, it's a baking soda. So I don't buy all kinds of perfumed soaps here. I don't want it on my property. And then I buy proper oils for scenting my clothes. Like I'll buy frankincense, or I'll buy mint, spearmint, peppermint, things like that. That's the kind of stuff I use in my water to wash my floors and things like that. But I don't even sweep anymore. I bought an industrial vacuum to vacuum all the dust and everything, because sweeping it is just pushing it all over the place. So I leave the brooms for outside use, and I don't keep brooms in my house anymore. They're too dirty. And with the wood stove, I collect a lot of dust. So I might just switch over to electric heat only, because the silica dust from the wood stove caused me to get an infection in my lungs, the same feeling as pneumonia. And I couldn't breathe for 3 days. So I drank turmeric and ginger and cumin tea with honey, and it got rid of whatever infection I had in my lungs from the silica dust. But I used to get those infections in the oil sands also when I worked at Suncor. So it's the same idea. You're getting those dust particles in your lungs while you're sleeping and breathing, and you get really sick on it. So I'm not really happy about that part with the wood stove. I didn't even think I would get that much dust in the house, but I do. So I'm not too good with that part. So I might be getting away from the wood stove eventually. Like I'll leave the wood stove in here, but I don't think I'll be using it as much as I did over the past 3 winters. I'm going to get electric heaters, and I'm going to heat the house with electric, because it only brought my bills up to $10 more a month last year. I priced it over 3. Well, I didn't have hydro the first year, but the second and third year I was able to price it with electric heat. And the electric heat is actually coming out cheaper by the month, plus everything, my lights, everything. It's coming out cheaper by the month than burning with wood because I purchased my wood in. Now, if I had a big property and I had chainsaws and I could cut my own trees and get it for free, then it's a different story. But I don't have that. I didn't buy a property big enough. And even so, I would have to hire someone to take down the trees and cut up the firewood. I'm not experienced with a chainsaw. I'm 60 years old, and the heavy lifting I can't do. So I had to take all that into consideration. So do I have money, and why am I broke? This is why I'm broke. Because of the build. And then you got building inspectors. Even though you're in an unorganized township, they still manage to stick their nose in your business. So they keep bugging me about a gray water tank, but I don't know where my plumbing is going to go yet. So I'm not putting a gray water tank in. I'm using my outhouse for water drainage, and my rinse water goes into all of my gardening and to my trees and stuff like that. And then I keep a compost pile, and everything goes into compost outside of that, except for plastic. Any paper I burn or I use it in the gardens for compost. And any plastics or metals that I get all go in the garbage. That's the only thing that goes in the garbage. The rest all gets recycled. And I'm even considering keeping tin cans and crushing them down for tin. Apparently there's money in it. I don't know, but it might not be worth it to keep it. But there's people that do pick up junk. And if I keep all my tin cans and crush them down, clean them out, and give them to them, they'll add it to their stuff. And it'll, every pound counts, I guess. So, yeah, that's about it with me. And so this year's addition was the sauna, and I'm putting a small deck in the front door area. My brother's coming to build it. I'm not hiring any more contractors anymore because they never complete their jobs, and they don't give me a business license. They won't give me invoices. I need invoices for all the upgrades. So now I have to go through all of my e-transfers over the past 3 years, label everything, and show what the money was spent on, so that if I do go to sell the place, I have all the receipts for all of the upgrades for whoever purchases, so they know what they have to do. Not like I was left in the dark and not knowing what's going on. Nobody was here to show us the place. There was no power. We couldn't get lights on. We couldn't see anything. And the place was full of garbage. They were asking $189,900 for 1.65 acres. I got it for $150,000, but I had to buy them out last year, and I had to take a new loan. And the new loan was $56,000 at 10.9% interest. Because if you can't pay it, it's high risk for them to sell it because there's no water here. There's no well here. To put in a well is $25,000. To put in plumbing is $10,000. To put a gray water tank is $10,000. To put a septic in is another $10,000. To put a flushing toilet and plumbing. To add another building. To add a basement. It's over $100,000 to finish the build. I don't have that kind of money. I'm not rich. I'm living on paycheck to paycheck trying to make this work. And it's not easy, not when you're 60 years old. So yes, I am broke. But if anybody wants to make a donation to my channel, it's churanevelyn8@gmail.com. I thought I put it in the description before, but I'm not sure. And yeah, so I'm kind of doing what I can. So yeah, my email is in the description below. churanevelyn8@gmail.com for any donations towards the build. Or just buy me a coffee. And that's where I'm at. And no, I don't have the money to complete the build. And I still have to follow bylaws, even though I'm in an unorganized township. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't have to follow some bylaws, because you do. You can't throw garbage all over the place, and because every neighbor will complain. And of course, there's neighbors here. They're not far enough away for my liking, but it's all I could afford. I mean, I probably could have bought a house for 500,000, but I would have had a mortgage for 500,000, and my whole pension would have went to the banks in interest and property taxes and big hydro bills and water bills. And I don't want that. I'm trying to get away from corporations altogether. I don't want to be a part of big corporate companies anymore. I want nothing to do with it. That includes, like, I did run hydro and I do have internet, and they're big corporate companies, but that's the only people that get a couple of bucks from me. Outside of that, I want nothing to do with anything or anybody. I like my peace and quiet. I like being alone. Unless it's my family and my grandchildren, I only want my family here. I'm not really into visiting and staying up late and whatever. Like, I'm in bed at 7 o'clock at night. I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. As a matter of fact, I pinched a sciatic nerve yesterday just walking. I wasn't lifting anything, nothing. And I can barely walk today, and I'm having a real hard time sitting. And I had heat stroke. And so I'm trying to use the sauna more often right now to clean all my allergy phlegm. I get very sick from the trees around and everything, and the dust and everything. So I'm taking measures to better my health, not everybody else's. And if you'd like to donate to Churan's Tiny Homestead, you're more than welcome to. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Have a nice day, and I'll be around for updates. Goodbye. Take care.